It's crazy, right? How fast things change in the tech world. Like, you think back, and it wasn't that long ago, Skype was the only game in town
Right.
if you wanted to video chat. It was Skype or nothing. Especially, like, if you had friends abroad or family, just that quick, easy way to connect.
Yeah.
But now, almost nobody uses it. And that's what we're going to look at today. Like, what happened to Skype?
Yeah, it's a real classic story, like one of those rise and fall,
Right.
It all goes back to 2003.
2003, Skype just kind of pops up, and boom, you can call anyone in the world for free. Did you use it back then?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it really felt like the future.
I remember talking to friends overseas for hours.
Yeah.
And before Skype, those calls would have been like $100. Easy.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was revolutionary. I mean,
Yeah.
no question. It's like how the internet totally changed how we got information. Skype did the same thing for global communication,
Yeah.
made it accessible to everyone.
Exactly. And it wasn't just one-on-one calls either. It was that peer-to-peer technology. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it connected users directly. Instead of going through some big server, it was so efficient, especially for back then.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And it became the word for video chat.
Yeah.
Like everyone said, I'll Skype you. It was just what you did.
Oh, yeah. It was everywhere.
Totally captured the moment,
Yeah.
And then in 2011, Microsoft comes in, makes this huge move, buys Skype for $8.5 billion.
Billion with a B. That's some serious cash.
Huge. Yeah.
So what were they thinking? Like, did they want to make Skype the ultimate communication tool for everything Microsoft?
Oh, yeah. Totally integrated into everything.
Yeah.
Windows Xbox. Even Windows Phone. The whole idea was like Skype would be how everyone talks, no matter what.
Ambitious. But then things didn't quite go to plan, did they? Like, this article talks about how even with Microsoft's backing, Skype just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, it's true. They tried to revamp it, add new features, integrate it with other stuff, but it kind of lost its way, I think.
Yeah.
And there were some updates people just hated. Like, remember when they forced that Facebook integration?
Oh, yeah. That was rough. It felt so clunky and unnecessary. Do you think that was Microsoft's mistake? Like, trying to turn Skype into something it wasn't?
It's possible. I mean, those updates might have been, well-intentioned.
Yeah.
But they made what was a super simple platform really complicated. And the tech world was changing so fast.
Right.
It was a tough time to try and reinvent yourself.
For sure. It's like, while Skype was trying to figure itself out, all these other apps were popping up,
Yeah.
Each one with their own little thing.
Yeah.
And it's like they were all just waiting to grab a piece of Skype's pie.
Totally. That's a great way to put it. And the article even names some of the big ones like WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Zoom, all these players coming in and really changing the game.
Right. So let's break them down a little. Like, WhatsApp and Telegram, those are both messaging apps, right? What made them so successful?
I think they really understood where things were going.
Yeah.
Like everyone was using smartphones. And these apps were perfect for that. Super fast, simple, didn't use much data, just what you needed for quick chats and sharing stuff. Skype was still kind of stuck in that desktop world.
Yeah. It always felt kind of clunky on my phone.
Right, exactly. Just couldn't keep up with how people were communicating.
Then what about Discord? I feel like that one's huge with gamers.
Oh, yeah. Discord totally nailed the community aspect. They had that super low latency voice chat, which for gamers is like the holy grail.
Makes sense.
And you could make these servers just for specific games or interests.
Mm-hmm.
It became like the virtual hangout spot.
Right. So Skype's missing the mobile wave, the community thing, and then Zoom just explodes, especially for businesses. Why was that? What did Zoom have that Skype didn't?
Well, for one, Zoom was in the cloud, so it's way more scalable and reliable, especially for big meetings. Skype with that peer-to-peer model, it just wasn't built for hundreds of people.
Yeah, I've definitely been in some laggy Skype calls.
For sure. And Zoom just had a better interface, easy to use screen sharing, recording, all the stuff businesses needed.
It just worked. And then boom, 2020 hits. The pandemic, everyone's working from home.
Yeah.
I feel like that should have been Skype's time to shine,
Yeah.
Everyone needed video calls.
You think so, right?
Yeah.
But they just couldn't make it happen.
Yeah.
This article mentions all these problems, like performance issues, slow updates. It just felt like they were stuck in the past.
Meanwhile, Zoom's stock price is through the roof.
Yeah, they were ready for that moment.
Right place, right time, right product.
Yeah.
And then there's Teams.
Right.
Microsoft's own thing.
Right.
And they were building that up this whole time while Skype was floundering.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, were they hedging their bets?
Maybe.
Like, they saw Skype wasn't going to be the one, and they shifted gears to Teams.
It worked out for them, though, right? Because Teams is everywhere now.
Yeah. And remember how Microsoft wanted Skype to be that universal communication tool?
Yeah.
Well, Teams actually did it. Like, it works seamlessly with all the other Microsoft stuff, Office, Outlook.
So they got there in the end,
Yeah.
just with a different horse.
Yeah, and Teams was built for how people work now, you know?
Collaborative.
Yeah, exactly. Remote collaborative across devices. And while Skype was trying to catch up, Microsoft was pouring resources into Teams, adding features, making it better. And then they shut down Skype number. Remember that? Yeah. The virtual phone number thing, that felt like the beginning of the end. It was a sign, for sure. And then it was official, you know? That announcement in the Skype preview, Skype will no longer be available. Continue your calls and discussions on Teams. Like, that was it. The final nail in the coffin. Wow. What a ride. It's kind of sad, right? Like, Skype was such a big deal, and now it's just gone. Yeah, it really is the end of an era. But even though it's going away, its legacy is huge. I mean, it totally changed how we communicate online. Like those first kind of grainy video calls with family far away. Remember those?
Yeah, totally. Or using it to stay in touch with friends who moved across the country. Like, Skype made that so easy.
Exactly. And back then, that wasn't normal. You know, it wasn't like today where everyone just hops on a video call. Yeah. It was special.
It really was. And it wasn't just personal either. Like, businesses use Skype, too.
Right.
For international meetings and stuff. Saved them a ton of money.
Absolutely. It was a game changer. But technology never stops moving, you know?
Right.
It's always evolving. New stuff comes along.
It's like the circle of life for tech.
Exactly. And Skype's story is a perfect example. You know, what's huge one day is old news the next.
It makes you wonder, though. Could things have gone differently? Like, what if Microsoft had just focused on making Skype better instead of trying to make it everything?
Yeah.
Or if they jumped on that mobile trend sooner? Or gone all in on the cloud?
It's hard to say. Maybe it was just too many things at once. Missed opportunities, competition, the whole tech landscape changing.
Or maybe just bad timing.
Could be. Is there anything about Skype you think you'll actually miss?
You know what I'll miss? How simple it was.
Yeah.
Like, it just worked. You didn't have to think about it.
It was intuitive, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes with these new platforms, it's almost too much, you know?
I know what you mean. All those bells and whistles.
And I think Skype really deserves credit for making video chat a thing. Like, everyone does it now. But Skype kind of started it all.
That's true.
Yeah.
It normalized video call.
Exactly. So even though we're saying goodbye to Skype, it's good to remember what it did, you know? It really was a pioneer.
It was. And it's a reminder that no matter how big you are, you got to keep adapting.
Right.
If you don't change with the times, you get left behind.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
So what's next? Like, what's the next Skype? What's going to change how we communicate in the future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows for sure, but it's exciting to think about, you know,
It is.
what's around the corner.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the rise and fall of Skype. It's been a trip down memory lane for sure.
It has.
And it definitely gives us a lot to think about, you know? Like how quickly things change in the tech world and what the future might hold.
Definitely some food for thought.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.